was just going to say the same thing that you added at the end, karma and cause and effect and the intention behind it is interesting to think about. But once you look at it from the perspective of the non-self, all of this becomes completely irrelevant because
Excellent.
it's just like watching a movie on the screen. You're not part of the characters in the movie. You're just watching a story unfold. It's
Yeah,
just an interesting
exactly.
thing to watch, but you're not part of it.
Exactly. And so to start with, I would like if you can give us a little introduction about you and then your practice, how you have been practicing and what interest
Uh,
to join us.
sure, my name is Marquise. I'm new to Phoenix. I moved here in February. I came from a very small town. And as far as my practice goes, I used to meditate um, frequently for a few years of my life. And I slowly start going away from that because of different things like this with work and other things that our lives get we get caught up with. And I read a lot. Um, I read a lot of books, but I think that there is no amount of books that can account for direct experience, right? So that's one thing I could say for sure. So yeah,
Okay.
that's one thing I'm. Mhm.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Thanks for sharing that. And then especially,
Mhm.
yeah, the last sentence I like that because many books and many intellect will do
Mhm.
only to the brain and to the mind, but what we need is the actual experience of our
Yes.
own essence. So, which is not that we can collect as a knowledge. It's not a knowledge. It is
Mhm.
actually self-efficacy. That's the right word. I think it's a Pali word is pratyaksha. I don't know. It is kind of it's a self-efficacy that really you should understand. You
Mhm.
should get that through you, and then only you know that which is the fact and that which is the right thing. So that is
Mhm.
good. And because all those intellect are more or less really some kind of a comparison. So in this and that, and then must be that, must be that. And those kind of argument is being settled with some common concession. So, but that is not what we really ought to see. We have the intelligence rather than intellect. So that intelligence will bring our true essence and true self, and then get to know what is we are, what is this whole existence is about. Very good.
Mhm.
The Usually I bring up some kind of a point to discuss, like from the book sometimes, and then from some others questions. So since you have read the book, I would like that if you have any kind of a clarification needed or any kind of a question that you want to clarify with me, and then it will help the others too.
Okay.
Okay.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So one thing that was clarified for me in your book was the difference between karma and karma, the action and the effect.
Mhm.
So what I thought was very interesting was that in the West, we're told that karma is like kind of like a boomerang effect. What goes around comes around. But one thing that I find is really interesting is karma is the action. But I wanted to ask you about the intent. So the intent behind an action, does that have just as much as importance as the action itself? Like for instance, like you donate to charity and the charity is automatically deducted and I don't have any thought of it, is it the same as charity that's given with the intention of helping? If that changes the effect, like that, what happens after, is that something that needs to be considered altogether?
Yeah. So, yeah, very good question. Very good question, and very. rudimentary misnomer from the whole, I mean, even not on the West, even in the East as well, because they have a lot of people that really, they just do things to get merit or something like that. So that's the intention that you are talking about, that intention matters. Intention matters for the action, because action can be unintentionally. That doesn't have any impact sometimes, because like if you are walking on the path and then you just step onto an ant or anything, and which has been killed because of your weight. It doesn't matter that really you have any impact on that your path, but it could have a little bit, but it's not that as we refer to as karma, in the sense that really the cause and effect part, because everything is happening in this world, right? In that case, there is a little impact, but it's not your intentional impact. So maybe that really you are just feeling a breeze coming through you. I mean, from the air, but it doesn't matter. That's right. It's not your intentional thing. But you may put a fan, I mean, switch on a fan, and that also intentional, but it doesn't have that kind of a karmic impact in a broader sense. But in the very, 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 very deeper sense, what you are trying to do is you are trying to comfort your ego by making that really right. This is the depth of that karma and karma, in the sense it's the same thing, but intention. If you have the intention, that will actually make that connection. So I'll give a different dimension for this. You would have read the book, and then I was talking about this 5 aggregation process. Could you remember? So they are that really what we are in. They are that really 3 of the steps of that process, which is actually you have seen the image and you actually recognize the image, and then you know that is the image. But later on, the last 2 thing, grasping section. When you grasp it, that means your intention is to grasp it, right? It's a grasp, and then only it impact you. So it will come and then store in your consciousness, which is vijnana. And this thing is consciousness, commonly used for this consciousness. I like to use it like your ego or the self-image. So it's been really fattened or the strengthen that image. So that is how we have been really coming up to this level of existence. And that is what you can relate this to that snowball example. So that snowball is getting its mass because of that really the trolling, and then it's collecting all the thing, right? So to the collecting part is that your intention.
Okay.
Right? So that intention comes with your little bit of a urge or little bit of a thirst of getting something. So that's the true the part that really relate to your individuality. But the rest of the things happening outside there is nothing to do with you, but it's there. But you are just, as soon as you grasp it, that's your with your intention, then it happens. So with the intention, if you do something bad, it has an effect. Like, if you, with the intention that you wanted to take the life, and then you take the life of a deer. So that means that really you have the intention to kill somebody, and then so that may have the consequences or the repercussion of that in your consciousness, not anywhere else. Not that really the deer has died and then people have eaten it. No, that's not. That's there too. Those are the matter. But actually, when it's come to your perceiving process, and when it comes to your own essence, the impact is that really you had that intention, and then you have collected that kind of I would say that kind of bad attitude within you, right? The bad or good is nothing to do with real understanding, but I'm giving that because there is no other way to explain it. So it's an impact. It's an impact. That's all. It can be good or bad. But
Oh yeah.
for this example, the deer died and all that things. Actually, that is kind of a bad conventional way. It is a bad thing, right? So then I
Mm-hmm.
will label it as a bad intention and bad connection. But sometimes if you give some donation or give something to somebody and help somebody, it will be a good deed kind of a thing, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's again a good intention. So with that good
Mm-hmm.
intention, you got that. It comes as well. That also registered in your consciousness or the actual your self-image or your ego. So that is the impact, both side of it. So as long as either the bad or good, but still your
Mm-hmm.
intention is whatever the intention will bring you that kind of impact, karma
Yes,
into your essence. Good. Yeah,
that
I
makes
want to
sense.
just pause. I want to pause a little bit and let you to comment whether you got it and then make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it lines up with modern psychology, what you said. And I talked to a psychologist, and she said if a person intentionally physically harms another person, that it also hurts them, but in
Yeah,
their nervous system. And I didn't know
exactly.
that. I thought, oh, and it sounds exactly what you're saying with the
Yeah.
intention that comes behind it. That's really
Yeah,
nice.
so correct. The psychology, they talk about more physical form of it, your
Hmm.
immunity system and all that. But this is more metaphysical, and then this is more deeper level as your consciousness,
Hmm.
without any matter or space or time kind of a thing. But
Hmm.
it is your essence, your self image. So that is what, and and uh, and these are the kind of thing that running most of the religions, because
Hmm.
all the religions, they do have sin or the bad things and then good deed, and all that thing is to make sure that really the humans, whoever following their religion, that have some kind of a sense and then make some comfortable living for others and them as well. So it is kind of a
Hmm.
systematic living and all that. Those has been there even before the Buddha's time. He didn't bring up
Hmm.
this karma, and he didn't bring up this karma and all that. He just explained that because even previous before him, most of those yogic tradition and all that, they were talking about this thing, and then they were promoting, it's called dana sila bhavana in Pali, that which is actually donate, the generosity and practice, and then really having a discipline. Those kind of things were
Hmm.
promoted as making the society a better society. So,
Hmm.
but Buddha's teaching is go beyond that. Now, that's what I want to bring up with your question. Yeah, of course, there is a karma and there is a intention and all that. That is to, survive, or that is to work through. That is the system of this existence, because existence depend on that kind of a thing happening, right? What Buddha's teaching is about, you know, going beyond this existence. So it doesn't matter what karma has been
Hmm.
happening for us, we have to step out of it. So step out of it is in the sense we have to step out of that self-image. We have to step out of that,
Hmm.
our ego. So once you step out of that one ego or the self-image or the consciousness, as commonly used word for that, you are beyond this existence. So it doesn't matter what karma is happening, because you are not have that intention anymore.
Hmm.
Are you with me? So
Hmm.
the everything, all the action, cause and effect is happening in this world, this existence, all the time. But you are not privy to that, or you are not really reacting to them, but maybe responding to that. But because you are not no longer with your self or self-image, so you are at the non-self state, as we normally
Hmm.
talk about. I refer to that as non-self state. It's not a state, but I have no other word to explain it. So
Hmm.
that is what it is. So Do you see the deeper dimension of that?
Yeah. Yes.
I was just going to bring up something that you had referred to with a lot of the modern religions. It does seem like very many people have, whether it be a donation box or a charitable thing that they like to do, even the same as meditation, is it seems like a lot of people want to do the thing, whether that be donating or meditating or what have you, because they are desiring a specific outcome. Hey, if I donate $10, it'll come back to me 100-fold. Or if I
Mhm.
meditate, I will then gain some kind of good karma or various things of that nature. But that's still a desirous way to look at it rather than doing the thing just because that is the appropriate thing to do in the moment or something along those lines. It's a grasping for what is the desired outcome that I get by doing the thing rather than doing the thing for nothing at all. It's just because you did the thing. That was the whole reason to do it, was just to do the thing itself. Like picking up trash. If you pick up trash and you just throw it away, is it because you're hoping that, well, I picked up this trash and I got a little bit of good karma? That's that's maybe not the point, although you did the thing, you picked up the trash, you threw it away. You're doing it possibly for the wrong reason, and you're attaching desired outcomes to the action that you're doing.
Very good, very
Mhm.
good. I am really, delighted the way that you explain it, because this is the very deepest point that Alex came up with, and then I wanted to go deeper into that a little bit later.
I was just going to say the same thing that you added at the end, karma and cause and effect and the intention behind it is interesting to think about. But once you look at it from the perspective of the non-self, all of this becomes completely irrelevant because
Excellent.
it's just like watching a movie on the screen. You're not part of the characters in the movie. You're just watching a story unfold.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
just an interesting
exactly,
thing to watch, but you're not part of it.
exactly. Very nice. That's another thing. Yeah, I'm delighted here too. I'm really happy that you comes with that dimension as
Mhm.
well, perspective as well. Okay, then I'll go to that Alex point, which is very, 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 very deep. This is very elementary. I mean, the rudimentary aspect of this whole thing. Very people, overlook that and they don't know. And then most of the very Eastern tradition also been victim of that, because as Alex mentioned, that even if you meditate, that you're meditating for something, and if you're getting that kind of a benefit, now I'm going to the deeper level of that, jhana that I was talking about, that mundane jhana, which is actually things like, good thing to do. It's not even bad thing. It is not a good thing, but it is kind of a things to do, kind of a more
Mhm.
spiritual things to do. You develop your absorption or the meditative absorption, and make sure that really you can do so. It's actually they are using their own consciousness to make different things, and then impact some people. And that is again their intention is to do that, and then to have a crowd, maybe that really all the followers around him and around them, those kind of things
Mhm.
again on the mundane level. But in fact, in the you go deeper level, it is again another thing that you do. So another thing that you do with the intention. So that's again is not the answer for this. That again, so during the Buddha's time, there were very very famous, very high level, psychic powered individuals that really having a gathering of so many thousands and thousands followers with them, and then so Siddhartha, the prince that before he became Buddha, he went to them and then learned everything, and then he realized, oh, they are very good, and then they are at a stage of the meditative absorption. Then they are hanging on to it. The intention is to hang on to it, and then I'll use some Pali word because some people who's listening, they might understand what it is, rather than when I'm explaining English, I wanted to make sure that very simplest way that you can understand. But some people wanted to get that. So in fact, it's a dhyana in the sense that really we do have that the form the meditative absorption with form, which is the and then the meditation absorption with formless. So there are 4 of 4. I mean, it's altogether 8. So any of those absorptions are again the intentionally done, intentionally attached to, and again that is kind of a continuous process going through. And then for some of those meditative states has kind of an infinite sense of being there, kind of a thing. It's a sense of infinity, thinking that really I'm not going to die anymore, I'm not going to burn anymore, and all that. But still is attached. I is there still. But people don't realize that I'm the guru, but that I is actually the one that really your ego and your conceit. So people are attached to that too. So that is what Alex is bringing up, because it doesn't matter whether good deed or bad deed or sin or the merit, or that doesn't matter. In between that, even this kind of a neutral sense, people think it's a neutral, but actually it is a kind of a development of your spirituality. Even that is, if you have the intention to keep it as spirit, that your state, again, it is continuous process of that snowball rolling. So it has to be beyond that. So beyond that, in the sense that you have to let go of all these 10 fetters, because those 10 fetters at the very, very, deepest level fetters are the one that keeping you into that ego, or that self-image, or that consciousness, people call it. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. And it is sometime that very famous people I could refer to, I can relate to some very famous people, even right now or even in the past. They were talking about this kind of to me, I think it's a misunderstood infinity, and they're talking about infinity, or it's a oneness. Nothing will happen to me later. That is I'm there, but it's again I. That's a pretty rudimentary question anybody should ask. Is that me doing that, or is that I wanted it in that at a different layers? The one layer is of course full blown ego, but on the other layer is very tiny, minute, micro level your ego. That's make this whole existence running, and then that's how you perceive it as well. It's your perception process, and then the perceiving process. If you are attached to that, that is intentionally attaching to that, and then of course it will have the same effect, like karmic effect that we talk about. We generally talked about that karmic effect for a one event by event, and then seeing things like um, giving a donation, or having kill somebody and having a bad day with other people, or argument and all that. That is true. That is the more surface level things. But if you go to the deepest level, even clinging into yourself is the same cause and effect. Correct?
Yeah. It's like there's a passage that you mentioned in your book, and it reminded me of what you said, that you were talking about even the particles, the smallest particles in existence, they pop in and out. And it's something similar to what I was thinking of, is that it's kind of like a clean onto something at the most basic level. And that's what I'm kind of getting, like a parallel hearing what you're saying about the I itself is an intention, like you're saying. The concept or the feeling of the self. It's like I guess, like you said, the beginning of the snowball might be
Yep.
the snowflake then. Huh.
Snowflakes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Exactly. That is
Mhm.
that snowflakes became snowflakes because of the temperature was sub-zero temperature, and then there was some the H2O particles around, and then it just
Mhm.
condensed. It just condensed, and then made that snowflakes. So that process is just happening, but we create that as that my snowball, and then we just going on with that, and then we are just collecting all that. So all this our thoughts and concept and everything, and we become this process of people who going in the role of this cycle of rebirth and
Mhm.
all that. So it's a very complicated process, but to eliminate that, very simple thing to do. Just be away from that. That's what our meditation practice is really about. Because I have I know that everybody else would know that really I do normally we don't guide people to look at the thoughts coming and going, and breathe in and breathe out, just looking at it, and then try to concentrate. All that is okay. That is very good. Because some people don't have that kind of ability to keep their attention span for a while, but this is different. That what we need is to bring your attention, which has been extended to outside, to bring it inwardly and go into that your rudimentary level of your inner essence. And then from there, you just have to open it up and then see what is going on. And then it'll show to you. Actually, it'll come through you. That is the nature of it as well. As long as you are not clinging into it, it'll just show
Mhm.
out, because it doesn't have any footing. So it just vanishes, and then vanishes, layer by layer. So you will see that it vanishes one step at a time. Like, okay, the huge. Uh, I normally call it as you sense some kind of a dense conditions around you, because you have already shut down all your six senses, including your mind. And then what will happen is that your sense is now looking at that very rudimentary level. Okay, what is going on here, kind of thing. Even if you say what is going on here, that means you are doing that. Rather than that, you just watch that. I normally call it witness it. So you are just surrendering yourself, and then you witness it. You will see that really it's just your stillness just vanishes, layer by layer, and then finally the whole is that stillness that you thought it is your stillness. That stillness will vanishes away, and then only that really you do see that really this non-self experience at a deepest level, and it may be just for a fraction of a second from these measurements in our existence, but there is no second in that particular experience. That experience is with you all the time. It may be covered a little bit by any other factors which might be prominent in your life, which you have carried forward. So if
Mhm.
you haven't had any of those things, that's it. So that means you have seen the what to be seen, and you have experienced what to be experienced. So then and there, you would not have any impact from these fetters you collected before. But some cases, many cases, what will happen is those other fetters, as I said on the book, that at least those 7 fetters will come to impact at a different degree. And then that way, what is happening is here, it is not that really now you are trying to get rid of them. But here now what you see is that, like, you experience the bottom of the stream, water stream, but the water came over you now. Previously, you were looking at the stream from outside of the stream, and you saw that it's a stream. But now, since you have seen that bottom of the stream or the flow of the stream, I have my example in the book as well, that when the huge tree trunk fall across that, the stream and the stream water will part, and then you see the bottom of the stream and then or the flow of the stream, and then you recognize it and it's there. Now you are looking from that perspective at this stream, because the stream is coming over you now, kind of a thing, right? This is the lack of any other explanation. This is the better way to put. So see, because of that, I know that Alex will normally explain that way. He says that really I'm not the person anymore. I'm just actually consciousness, or my awareness. From awareness, I'm looking at you now, kind of a thing. So it's the same thing. So this the water which is running over that tree trunk, or even the bottom of the stream, are those 7 fetters, which is not strong as even before, and which is different. But I wanted to. No, I'll stop here, and then I'll let you to grasp it, and then ask any question up to that point, and go to another point later. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no further questions at the time. It was a good explanation.
Okay, very good. And anybody else has any questions or anything you want to clear here? No? Okay. So, okay, Alex.
I got one. So it does seem to me that one thing that I was saying to you recently, not being able to practice my own meditation as much as I would like, just because of various things in the way, and noticing that I'm having more thoughts running through, even though it's something that I'm able to recognize as, oh, this is a thought of grasping or desiring, of something along those lines. It's like there is, and I've said this before, that there's the separation between the thought coming into your mind and then actually processing the thought and putting words to it and articulating it in your own head. And it seems like in that processing and trying to really identify the thought and put words to the thought, that is where a lot of the grasping and the desire really comes from. And it's something that during meditation, when you're able to actually get to that point of, I can silence all of the physical sensations, I can silence any mental chatter that's coming in, and you're able to bring that into your daily life and your just everyday interactions, that's really where the desire and the fetters begin to start to fade away, the other remaining 7, where it's, oh, I don't, like, maybe you have the thought of, oh, well, I want this cookie or what have you, but you're able to recognize that as just a craving or a desire for something. And when you're in this more deep space of beyond the physical and beyond the mental and that kind of thing. You're able to just recognize it and more or less let that go. And through deeper meditation, that then makes it so that you're able to silence those thoughts much easier and say, "Oh, this is just my mind running a million miles an hour. This isn't actually myself or lack thereof. It is just craving and desire of the mind or the body."
Yeah. And I wanted to add a little bit onto that explanation. When Alex was saying that really at the meditation, you can recognize that, and then all those things are happening. But I would say it's a kind of you are not really recognizing it as you used to be, kind of a thing, oh, this is happening to me or happening to this. No, you're recognizing that as something happening, and it may disturb me, kind of a thing. So it is actually, rather than recognition, I would say that really you find some disturbances into you. So that kind of, when you are meditating, you go deeper, and then you hear very subtle noises outside. But very first time, you might say that, oh, it's a bird, or it's a dog barking. But on the very deeper level, that you may not even think about it, the dog or the bird or anything. It's a noise just going out there. That's the essence I was talking about. That's what, when you have this first-hand experience of non-self experience, it'll happen like that way, rather than you are recognizing it that way and then thinking that, oh, that's a bird, I shouldn't be thinking about that. You don't eat that, right? Yeah. Yeah, very good. Stephanie,
It's not so much the recognition as it is that you have it run into your mind, and when you're able to just allow that to silence without trying to do anything, it just passes away, rather than I have to allow the sound of the bird chatter or whatever, or identifying that sound, trying to do anything. You're able to just go, oh, it just went away without me doing it.
Exactly. Doing nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're trying to do that, again, it goes back to that McCain's question of intention. It is kind of an intentional thing that going to, and then it start, accumulating to your ego if it is there. So that's a good point. I just want to clarify, because some people who are listening, they might have little conflict on there. Anyway, very good. And Stephanie, no?
I have nothing to add and no questions today. I still need to read, I still need to finish your book. I'm only 3/4 of the way through.
Okay.
But every time I read some of it, I have more questions. So I just need to finish it, and then I'll have more questions.
Yeah, but you have that in your subconsciousness for sure. I know that, because I can remember you were saying that when you were reading that eightfold path, and then you realize, oh, I have been doing this without even knowing it, right? Unintentionally. So I have no any what do you call hesitation that really you would not get anything in the book. I'm pretty sure that you can just relate that to whatever your experiences are. Okay, I want to go back to that the way I pause on that process of thought for Mackenzie's question, where that really I was just talking about that 7 fetters which need to be reduce or they fade away from you. But the first 3 fetters that goes away once you have that non-self experience. So those first 3 fetters includes actually the self identity, which is that sakkaya identity, which is first one, and then the doubtful, skeptical doubt, which is actually vicikiccha, and then the rituals and Rich kind of a belief system, which is the third one. All those things are, bundled together. That is why it is really go away straight away in those three different fetters, because this is how it's bundled. Because when I say that first one, your identity, that is identity, the Sakkaya Ditthi, which is actually, there are so many different ways that I can explain. I don't want to bring up all these for you right now, but it is actually the identification of yourself. So, which has been eliminated with your non-self experience for a fraction of a second. Because of that non-self experience is really detached from yourself, the self that which we talked about earlier on that Mackenzie's questions, that really the intention brings the that impact onto your essence. So your self. So once your self is gone, that means you had that kind of a experience where that really you don't need to have an intention, but you are responding to things, kind of thing. That is why it is already eradicated. It's already gone. Because of that, really, you don't have any doubt at all, because you know that really, Stephanie used to say, "Oh, okay, it'll die. Who's dying? I'm not dying. It's you. My persona is dying. My this thing is dying. That's how you see it, because you have no doubt anymore. I mean, it's a kind of a very no speculation anymore. It's just something happening outside. That's all. So that is that kind of a realization is that the skeptical doubt. And then the rituals and rites, in the sense that the many people who has the ego, or who has that self-image, or who has that I identity, they are trying to protect it by outside help. That is why you have all these rituals, and then people go behind, some people might help me, and then some kind of a thing might help me. It's not like, we're going to a doctor and then getting a medicine. But here what we are doing is we are just going with the different unknown factors, and then think that really, okay, whole universe, the power of universe might help me, and this thing might help me. But that is me. Who's me? That is your essence, your self. So if the me is gone, that self image is gone. So you don't need to go behind all those rituals. So that's the fact I want to bring up. And then so that means that really you don't have any intention of going on those rituals or any other things, that whether it's a good or bad, or whether it is a kind of a thing that really you might think, or it is some kind of a meditative absorption. You can just fly through something, and then you can, float on the water and all that. Those are possible. This has been done before. And then even very recently, that I was referring to one of the lady who was in India. I think she died in 1992. She was called Deepama. All the Westerners amazed with her abilities, because she could just, pass through the wall into the other side. So she come to the room, not from the door, but through the wall, kind of a thing. And then she can just really create a little hut on a tree, not like, making it, but actually just by sitting down on the meditation posture, she can just create that on this thing. I think this Jack Cornfield and them, they were trying to film it, but actually it didn't catch the film. I don't know, for some reason it didn't, because there is a kind of a huge area which is very blank up on the tree, because it's supposed to be a tree leaves and all that. There's nothing there, but actually no any other image there. But that is kind of a miracle kind of a thing that really the people would do with those meditative absorption. But that is again intentional thing, karma, which is relating to this conventional world, conventional existence. But what we are talking about is we are just go beyond that conventional existence. So that is how we come up with all this wisdom, because he's looking at the house from outside. People who are inside the house, they don't see the true nature. So sometimes people go to the roof and then think that really they have seen the whole house. No, You need to go totally outside of the house to see the whole thing. It is like, when I refer to that roof, it's like people, especially the other tradition, they are talking about oneness, and then having that ocean, you become an ocean and you are one, that kind of a thing. It's like, you are on the roof and then saying that, oh, I have seen the whole house, but you are sitting on the roof. How can you see that? You can't see your area that you are footing on, right? But similarly, that if you are out of that roof too, you can see the whole house. Or it's just like, as I said, that it is kind of even the ocean is vanished. It's not there. And I can refer to the others that really, can you remember we had that another lady that he was talking about Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and she was giving a lot of explanations, something similar to that even Stephanie had. But they are talking about like, something to hold on to. If you hold on to something, again, you are in this pickle, if I put it that way. Good. So that's all my thoughts on that. Any other direction we can take this discussion to?
Sure. I guess we can continue on with the karma and karma and how that affects rebirth, because that was one thing I was reading and listening to recently, and how what continues on. Is it just the chain reaction that carries on, kind of like a
Good.
domino effect?
Yeah. Good question. It's not more like a domino effect. It is more like the same as the example I gave where, snowball,
Okay.
rolling, snowball rolling, because it's like, sometimes people think that a snowball is rolling only for this lifetime, but it is a snowball in the sense that is that your consciousness. It doesn't have any physical nature or anything. So that is all
Mhm.
accumulation of all your concept and all the other experience that you have gathered and you have clung to, which is the kind of a snowball, in the sense a bundle of all those thoughts and everything. So that bundle is the one that really Buddha mentioned as 10 fetters, because he has just given the bundle. He has categorized few different way that really how it's impact when you are just releasing all that. So very a
Mhm.
typical example for that is like onion. Onion has the different
Yeah.
layers. So different layers. So that onion
Mhm.
has so those different layers are the 10 layers, 10 fetters. So that's what we are talking about. But on the rebirth point of view, it is the same thing that is rolling into the next birth, because this is our vehicle. This is like, we are driving kind of a Tesla right now. But on the next time we might be riding the Rolls
Okay.
Royce, or we might be riding a bicycle, or we may
Okay.
be riding, walking on the
Mhm.
without a vehicle kind of thing. So that is the analogy I was just trying to say, that rebirth is not that you are reborn, in the sense there is a different dimension to this. I think the different way we can explain it, and then people have used that for the to fit the mindset of individual peoples. Like, even the Westerners, mostly they talk about that it's only this life, right? So even this life, we
Mhm.
are reborn every millisecond. So
Yes.
as soon as you really heard my explanation of that karma, your thought process of,
Mhm.
what is karma has changed a little bit. So it's again, you are
Mhm.
reborn, in the sense that really you are actually your self-image is the all thoughts and everything, all accumulated concept and experiences. So that will be altered with a one single thing, and then it's altered again and altered again. So every millisecond you are really reborn in that way, in that manner. So here what we are seeing is actually we see that as a physical body. With I think the every cell of our body is being replaced every 6 months, according to biology, I think, according to
Mhm.
doctors and all that. So it's again the physical form also reborn. I mean, has a rebirth cycle. But in the same time that your mental form, where your mind is being accumulated, altered with another thought, another concept, and then that's how you have been reborn here in this life. But what happened is, when we all know that when we die, something went away from us, right? Our liveliness gone away from us. That liveliness is the one that we are referring to as our consciousness. That consciousness goes away. So that means that that consciousness carries all of this thing that you collected this life, and then it'll just jump into a different life form. It could be actually the form or formless. We never know. It could be that mostly it could be since we are dying with that 10 fetters, we would be something like animal or human or any other thing. So that is the Buddha's discovery, but the school of thought on the yogic and most Hindu traditions, they call it reincarnation rather than rebirth. That reincarnation means that really, of course, the person who die here, he will take another human form somewhere. That's a must, that's a given, nothing else. But Buddha discovered, no, it's not a human form anymore. It could be a different form, even it could be a dog or animal or anything. That's because of the collected concept and all that thing, what you carrying with your consciousness may trigger into a different day, because you do have that. Whatever you collected, the intentionally collected things has impact. That impact has to come through, because it won't die once you die, right? It has to come through. It comes through with that. That is why another way to say that is that all this impact and everything is happening to yourself. Now, in case of that, you let go of that self and then become a non-self, and then, of course, later on get rid of all that fetters. There is nothing to reborn, because you are that is empty. So whatever the thing that you have accumulated, you can see physically right now, that will die. So there's nothing to go away, because you die before your death come to you. That is how Eckhart Tolle normally put it. He says that you have to die before the death come to you. So that means before your physical death come to you, you can die, in the sense your ego can die. That means you are going beyond the ego. That means you experience that non-self experience, and in addition to that, you letting go of all the other 7 fetters. So once they were gone, then only that really you are really dead, in the sense that your ego has totally dead. Otherwise, you might carry for another couple of other lifetime, until it's really dies down, until this 7 fetters dies down. Now, in Eckhart case, it could be that he has been, been a once returner on the past lifetime, and then he just born here, and then without knowing even Buddhism or anything, because of all the fetters are gone, and then he would have just, he just on the overnight he turned around, because everything was gone, and then now he's just going around to say that it is, nothing to worry, and then he's explaining to people, and he's laughing at some people who's explaining their mind or the anxiety, and then all the problem created by their mind. And then after that only he wrote the book, because he realized, these people need some assistance. So he just started doing that. So similar case. So it just my interpretation or my sense of what he is, in the sense Eckhart Tolle is, because although Eckhart Tolle has a picture or the body and all that, like Stephanie was talking about, it's a body. For us, it's Eckhart Tolle, but for him, there's no Eckhart Tolle there. He's just passing the message, just like Jesus said that really, okay, I'm just passing the message. It's the God, because he referred to that kind of a thing as a god. But because I think at the time when they were discussing that, the people were privy to something extraordinary as a god, or the kind of unnatural thing as a god. So then he referred to as a god. So those kind of things. So it is a matter of that you are shifting from this existence into the non-existence. Until such time, you will be reborn as a different living. Got the answer, or do you need any clarification?
No, that was a great answer. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Go ahead, Alex.
So I just have one more question. So as far as the remaining 7 fetters go, you had said to me earlier that because you've already had this non-self experience, there's not necessarily a need to continue meditating to allow for those remaining 7 fetters to dissipate. Is that correct? Am I remembering what you said correct?
No, I think you misunderstood there.
Okay.
It's not that really you don't have to meditate, but since you are not meditating right now, you just said you are slack in meditating here and there half an hour because of you are busy. So what I meant was that really it doesn't matter if you even half an hour is okay, but don't worry about it that you cannot meditate, because your inner essence is already there, and then you know how to recoup it. So that's what I meant. Not that you don't have to meditate. You need to meditate, of course, in the sense that you need to go there. Then only you can see that really all the fetters are leaving. Although if you don't meditate, you do really know that, because even when you are explaining, you say that really, okay, I can now feel that I'm a little bit dragging into the other side, kind of a thing. So that itself is that really you are alert. You are that experience is helping you to make sure that you don't go further. So for that, actually, the meditation is helpful if you are doing every day. But it doesn't matter that you don't have to do every day, in the sense at one stage when you settle down with all this work, you can just come back and then sit and get there, like Stephanie is doing now, because I know Stephanie has gone long way from the experience, and then now she's back, right, Stephanie?
Yeah, it's been my experience that it does make a difference if you stop meditating for an extended amount of time. You just completely forget what's going on after a while. But then when you get back into it, you can get back into that state very quickly, and it's like you never stopped.
Oh, that's a
It's,
good
it,
point. That's
it's
a
like
good
when
word.
it's like if you ride your bike every day and you're used to riding your bike every day, and then you completely forget about it and you don't ride your bike for a year, and then you try again, and you can get right back into it.
Exactly.
You
Very
don't
well
really
done.
lose the progress you have made, but you might temporarily forget it, and you might put it to sleep.
Exactly. Exactly. And then
Um,
nicely,
almost like almost like you're pausing where you were and you're not advancing, but you're not actually taking any step back.
Yeah.
correct.
I see.
Yeah.
Correct.
It seems like you took a step back because you're not consciously aware of how the world works anymore and who you are. But then when you get back into it and you remember, then it's like
Yeah.
you did not go backwards at all.
I
You
see.
That's
don't you
that.
don't lose any progress.
Yeah. That's the beauty of that. That is why I'm saying that the place that you have experience is the place there where there is no time or space. So it is beyond that. It's not a memory. It is not a memory. That is why it won't change. It will be there. So, but the thing is that your mind is taking you somewhere, and then you just realize that what is going on, and then you come back. It's there. It's like, my example is like a crack of the on the egg, a little crack. So you don't heal that, fix that crack anymore. It's there, and then it'll start when you come back. It'll start cracking all the way into the, until the chick comes out. So that's why I said I wanted to encourage you rather than discourage you. That's why I said it doesn't matter if you can't meditate every day. Just keep on whatever you're doing, and then it'll come back. And then it'll come back. You may feel that you are stepping back. I can remember Stephanie was saying, it seems like I have taken 100 steps back, but now you're back here again, same way. You might feel that really you are back, but that is why that is the beauty of that Buddha's teaching. And he said that really whoever got that non-self experience, he may forget about that for even 7 rebirths. Think about that. Still, he will get that because it's so profound. It's so impactful. You may hang around, you may just fool around for 1 birth and the 2nd birth, 3rd birth, but still it comes to. But don't procrastinate to 7th birth now, because this is the time that really we have available. You know for sure that, right? This is the this is the time that really we have. This is very rare thing that really what we are doing is very rare thing, because it's not what it is. Very good. I think it's time for us
Great.
to.
Thank you for the clarification.